Here we go. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for our weekly Cannabis Connection webinar series. I am your host, Jamie Cooper, the founder of Cannabis Connection, and today I am joined by our founding member, Anthony Sabatella with THC 123. Hi, Anthony.
Oh, Jamie, how are you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
As good as I can be for anyone in the cannabis industry at this point.
Oh, yeah. We're rolling with the punches to our best ability. Today, I'm sure you heard that they pushed the the deadline to December 15th. So that's kind of a relief for our industry. This means that some of those existing establishments that are waiting on their approval from the state will be able to continue to operate through December. Awesome.
Yep, and in addition to those, the members of our community that will be able to operate through the appeals process that we know is coming for many of them.
That's right. Yesterday, the state looked at 61 applications. 31 of them were or 30 of them were for pre-approval. 31 were for the final approval. A lot got denied. Some of them got accepted. Some of the denials would include the Lake Effect, which a provisioning center down in Portage, Oasis, which had 18 applications, and they are also part of the Wild Bill's Tobacco. There was a big denial there. I mean, 18 applications with $6,000 application fee for each. That was $108,000 paid to the state.
And Jamie, it's great that you bring that up because I think it should be a topic of discussion for the industry. Exactly what just happened there. You said 18 licenses at $6,000. That's $108,000. Did the state of Michigan, can they show the appropriation of that $108,000 they collected from the Wild Bill Collective and show that the administration to deny them a license cost $108,000? If they cannot show that, I just feel that that's an undue tax on this industry by by our state government. And honestly, taxes need to be voted on.
And that brings me to, okay, so $6,000, that's 702. So Michigan has collected $4.2 million off of application fees so far.
So $4.2 million to get through. How many applicants have they gone through in
They've approved 37. I'm not sure how many they've gotten through, but yeah, it's
so you're saying that it's cost this industry $4.2 million of their hard-earned money to be given to the government to get this product in return.
Right.
I mean, if I'm an industry member, I would be looking, pretty disdainfully at that.
Yeah, it's, it'll be interesting to see what happens as we move forward. The emergency rules were extended through December 15th. Now, on Monday, there's a public hearing to talk about the proposed permanent rules, which would replace the emergency rules. And one of the things that everyone is talking about that was added into the permanent rules is the fact that these provisioning center licenses can have a delivery method attached to their provisioning centers. And this is huge because right now we have 1,700 plus municipalities in Michigan and only 108 have opted in. And here's the great thing is those 108 that have opted in, and if they have opted into provisioning centers, can deliver to municipalities that have not opted in. So why not go ahead and opt in and collect some tax revenue? It makes sense to me.
Hey, Jamie, it goes back to the old adage, if it makes dollars, it makes sense.
Right.
And I mean, I think it's a very far-fetched belief that, this reefer madness wave is coming since it hasn't came in, I don't know, the centuries, that cannabis is been used. So understanding that fact, and you see it as a large potential cash crop and, taxes and different resources that can be applied to your local municipality through cannabis, I mean, that seems like a win-win-win scenario for me.
I agree. I definitely agree. Well, awesome. Nice little chat. So now on to the topic. Today we are talking about hiring tips for cannabis employers. And this is your realm of expertise.
This is a little bit before we get started. THC 123 is the sister company of my father's professional employer organization, America's Back Office. At America's Back Office, we've acquired 8 other professional employer organizations in the last 10 years. And we process just north of $1/3 billion in payroll annually in all 50 states.
Woohoo!
So it just made sense to me that we have all of these resources available. And taking a look at my community, the cannabis community, their New Frontier data has shown that 48% of cannabis businesses have zero employee benefits. Zero. That's including paid time off, vacation days, maternity
Wow.
leave, FMLA. 46% of them have none of that. And that, as a community is wrong. So, with these
Right.
resources, we're able to offer economies of scale through workers' compensation rates, employee benefits, 401ks, and then also look to transition wonderful employees outside the cannabis industry into the cannabis industry, because we're looking for strong people with strong skill sets that can transition and help grow this emerging market.
Right. And you want to keep employees around.
Absolutely. I mean, if you have high employee wages and high employee benefits, you're going to secure top talent. Those employees aren't going to want to go to your competitor to go work. They're going to want to work for you. You're going to decrease your employee turnover, which is going to lower your labor costs. And through lowering your labor costs, you can increase your profit margins.
Right. Right. Well, let me know as you want me to go through the slides. I do have control, unless you want to take control of flipping through your slides.
Yeah, I'll just share. I'll share my screen. Let me know
Okay.
if you can see it.
Here, I'm stopping my share and your turn. And there it is.
Wonderful. Well, everyone, I'm the president of THC 123. My name's Anthony Sabatella, and I've put together a couple hiring tips for cannabis employers. The best hiring tip for you? Please use THC 123. We've been refining our hiring process for the last 2 decades, and we're able to lower our cost per hire to offer clients savings and increase profits. If this is what we handle and you can outsource a business administration function and concentrate on your core competencies, business owners, their times are better suited, growing their brand, growing through marketing, growing through growing on demand, gaining market share. Doing your employee benefits, it's non-revenue generating. Handling workers' compensation, it's just administration tax that comes inherently with running a business. So outsource that to one vendor that can handle all of these business processes so you can, focus at the task at hand. And that's truly what we do for cannabis employers. And then why is hiring the right employee important? And simple. It's because time equals money. Time is the only depreciating asset that we all have. None of us has an unlimited amount of time. So if we can better focus our time towards revenue generating pieces of running a business, that suits a company better than handling the hiring process for a new employee. Let's say they need a new lead bud tender, for example. The longer it takes to hire a suitable employee, the cost per hire increases. Taking a look at a real life example, a lead bud tender, an annual salary is around $35,000. We would like that experienced lead bud tender, have 2 years of bud tending experience preferred. They will help train some of the newer bud tenders, teach them about the different products, different strains, different medical benefits. And let's say our boss gives us about 1 month to hire this employee. Let's say I'm a hiring manager, a middle management employee, and I make roughly $48,000, seeing that I have management experience and I'm looking to build our team. If it's going to take me a month to hire, it just costs my boss $4,000 in labor cost, since I'm now focused on getting a new lead bud tender in our provisioning center. There's also additional costs for postings, job ads. We're going to need to sponsor our ads, since we're not going to be the only provisioning center or processing facility or our cultivation facility hiring. The industry is going to be hiring over 250,000 jobs by 2020 in all 50, and eventually in all 50 states. And there's going to be multiple competitors out there, and how are you going to differentiate yourself? So you're going to need to sponsor these ads. You're going to need to, wine and dine your talent to try to find the best person. You're going to have to give them the best to get the best, because how dynamic and how quickly this industry is going. Taking some conservative numbers out at hand, it would cost you roughly $4,600 to hire a lead bud tender for your company.
This is really great way to look at it and to see like exactly how much money you would be losing by trying to take this on as your own. I mean, like
these are the hidden costs that come with running a business. The statistics shows that 9 out of every 10 small businesses fail, and it's like, why do they fail? And it's because businesses walk into incurred costs that they did not potentially realize, or they didn't budget accordingly. If we can offer savings in those spots in lieu of added expenses, and we can now budget, and understand where our labor costs are going to come in, we can budget accordingly. Taking a look here at some of the industry benchmarks, it usually costs a company about $3,400 to hire an entry-level employee. And then using some percentages of annual salary, 30K or yes is roughly 16, between 30 and 75,000 is 18%, and it's usually 20% on up to, I've seen numbers as high as 300,000 for expenses that go with hiring and obtaining top upper management talent. These are the cream of the crop. These are, the people with experience, with a knowledgeable skill set, with solutions at hand that can help grow your business. So if we know that these are the industry benchmarks and these are the costs, and if we can outsource this function to a company that specializes exactly in the hiring and in business administration needs, and our time's better, and we already understand that our time's better offset growing our business, and we can save money in doing it, that's the solution I'm looking to bring the cannabis industry. The typical cost per hire for an entry-level employee through THC 123 is going to be $2,400. This is roughly a 33% savings. A mid-level employee at 50K at 18%, that's going to say it's going to cost on average $9,000 for that employee. If you go and use THC 123, I can staff that employee for $4,800. That's almost a 50% savings. And then when it comes to the top tier upper management employees, it's going to cost at bare minimum 20% of the annual salary. Most other recruiting companies are going to charge between 20 and 30% as well. A staffing company is going to charge between 45 and 50% for that employee's salary. We charge 18%. And yeah, that is only a 10% savings from the industry standard, but there's a reason for that. And I'm going to delve into that. For our upper management recruiting, we only offer a 10% savings from the industry standard as opposed to the 46% savings we offer in our mid-market employees. And that is because upper management is the most important members of your team. Are you looking simply just to save money and hire somebody who's really going to be at the helm of your company? Or are you looking for top results from top decision makers, from people with experience who have made these difficult decisions before? And for that reason, for our upper management recruits, we partner with another company, CTC Talent Partners. They're a Michigan-based company, and then they are helping with the upper management recruiting of top-tier cannabis professionals for these new facilities that are opening up in the upcoming years. Together, we're delivering the cream of the crop in cannabis recruiting and taking our unique and succinct visions for solutions driven by continuous improvement. We can provide employees with the greatest skill set to satisfy industry needs.
Now, do you feel like you're getting a lot more requests right now for the upper management type of positions to kind of come in first and then?
I think those are developing because those are something that you need to have an inherent trust with a company to understand what goes into hiring top talent, what goes into hiring the cream of the crop, because it's not the same hiring process. It may be systematically, but the product is a different product, and it takes a combination of trust and loyalty to build those connections. So those are absolutely forthcoming. I've spoke with multiple companies on essentially looking for divisions, plug and play divisions. If they're looking to grow their concentrate line and they have no local presence for a concentrate line, it would make the most logical sense to help out an underfunded company in the cannabis space to work as a division in a commercial setting. That's essentially what the end goal is for these entrepreneurs when they started. It's just a different perspective.
Right.
And then understanding the THC 123 hiring process. When we hire recruits, we use a 10-step hiring process. The easiest hiring process for anyone in the industry would just to be utilize us. But if you rather internalize this function, I wanted to provide our 10-step hiring process to cannabis employers. There are 3 parts to the hiring process. The first piece is job foundation. That goes into what creates the job, what are the day-to-day operations, what goes into the needs to have this job, why does this job exist? And then once you can understand that piece, you can properly succinct the job description through a job posting, and then you can see the candidates that came in. After taking a look at that screening process, the last piece is to finalize the employment process by a job offer and a job acceptance. If a company is looking to internalize this function but may need just help in the step in the process, we have solutions there for you and can help out with all factors of the hiring process, including the staffing planning. Job foundation. The first piece is job analysis. What goes into this job? Is this just a simple bud tending job? Or are they going to have to do stocking and shelving with it? What are the minute pieces that go into the day-to-day operations of this facility? And then how does this job benefit your company? I think a business owner needs to know why this job exists, not just because it exists. Because if you have jobs that just exist, you're burning labor costs. You're decreasing your profit margins if you have ancillary jobs that really have no true meaning behind them. Secondly is taking that job analysis and turning it into a job description. Use the answers to the questions above to create an accurate representation of the job analysis. Okay, this is a position for an assistant manager in a provisioning center. The process and the position helps manage the operational staff and reports to the GM. Once you have that job description, you should look to meld that with your corporate branding and create the job posting. This is where the employer gets to list the advantages and the benefits of working at your cultivation facility or your provisioning center as opposed to your competitors. The last part of the job foundation process is receiving applications. This is where you can truly see if you did put pieces 1, 2, and 3 correctly. Because if you didn't receive the amount or the type of applications you expected, you may have had an issue with a piece above. If you have a list of high potential candidates, you've handled the beginning of the hiring process correctly, and you can move on to the screening process. When it comes to the screening process at THC 123, we will review the applications, number one. If an application comes in through THC 123, it has been viewed by us. What we do is create a short list. If, let's say, we received 100 applications, let's review all of them and set aside your top 20. This is for the hiring managers. They need to manage and help manage their time and energy efficiently. That doesn't mean the other 20 applicants don't have an opportunity at this job. As a manager, you have to make decisions, and you have to make decisions to utilize your time efficiently. But what does that say to the other 20 applicants? You have not done an adequate job for whatever reason to catch the employer's eye. That's why when somebody goes and creates a resume and puts down their job responsibilities and their experiences, they need to be succinct. They need to be qualified. They need to have data, and it has to catch an employer's eye. And that is the biggest tip I can really give any candidate is you need to catch the employer's eye. The next step is setting up a 15-minute phone interview. This is an introduction stage. We discuss our firm's goals, discuss what we do here at THC 123, discuss the job opportunity at hand, ask the candidate some questions, and see if they align with all the pieces of the job opening that we have available. After that 15-minute phone interview through your top 20, you should be able to delineate probably your best 5 to 10. It's those 5 and 10 that you need to schedule your time efficiently and set up a second in-person interview. This second in-person interview might be 20 minutes to an hour. We're going to want to gather some more information about these candidates, find out a little bit more about their experience, field questions from them. A good candidate should have questions back from the employer. They should try to be aligning themselves with companies that they can have a career in, not just a company that, they're giving me a job. That's the only way you're going to advance, is to align yourself with companies that give you the opportunity to advance. After taking a look at those top 5 to 10, set up the third interview. This is really where we're going to compare the best of the best, compare skill set against opportunity, against personality, against experience, and see what solutions they're looking to bring to help solve our business problem at hand. After we handle all of that, and a firm makes a selection, we then move on to the next piece of the hiring process, which is the job finalization process. After we select our candidate that we want to offer the job, we should look at what goes into that job offer. What does the industry usually pay? If the industry average for a middle management job is $60,000 and I'm only offering $40,000 and no employee benefits, I'm creating my own problem. I don't even see it, but I'm creating a problem for my business, because if I create a issue with employee turnover, and I'm losing great candidates every 6 months, and I can't figure out why. It's, have an exit interview with your employees, see why they're leaving. Maybe those your employees, they're going to let you know the inner workings of your business. As a business owner, some business owners see the minutia. Some business owners are big picture guys, and they don't see the day-to-day operations. Your employees are your biggest asset as a business. So if you can keep your employees happy and lower your turnover, lower your labor costs, and increase your bottom line, your company will grow. Your company will flourish. Lastly, after the job offer is made, did the candidate accept the offer? Did they counter offer? Do they want a higher salary? Do they deserve that higher salary? Should we counter their counter offer? If they're asking for too much and maybe the expectations for this job are different for the candidate and the job and the employer, do we have a backup plan? Do we have a secondary candidate? Fortunately, employing THC 123, we can solve all of these issues for employers. Did anyone have any questions?
Woo! No, like, holy moly, like, I think this is definitely something that needs to be taken out of some of these people, these licensees' hands. I mean, these are very, very unique roles that need to be filled. And our state, something that we have to remember is our state is new to all of this. There's going to be a lot of that hiring of managers that have done this in other states.
Correct.
Yeah, and so I can't imagine being someone where those type of people are not accessible really here in Michigan. They are elsewhere working for different establishments probably, looking to maybe move back to home. Or I see a lot of people that left Michigan that are coming back to Michigan to be a part of this big boom.
Yeah, I've met so many wonderful people. We have over 4,000 applicants in all 5 verticals in our database as we speak, and I've had the opportunity to speak with hundreds and hundreds of people, and it's everybody has their story, and it's really gathering that story and offering these employees that we can help get a job and obtain a career in the cannabis industry, that they can tell their story on why cannabis benefited them, why they made the transition to cannabis, and why they took their skill set to the cannabis industry. And if we can really show all of the positive features of these positive people and this positive industry, we'll grow.
Right. And in addition to obviously expertise, what other qualifications is it important for cannabis entrepreneurs to look for in an applicant when it comes to the cannabis industry?
I think it's melding multiple skill sets. I mean, the cannabis industry is a brand new emerging market. So from an emerging market, you take your resources from other markets. So there's so many different overlaps and opportunities for the cannabis industry, especially in ancillary services. I handle payroll, staffing, compliance for cannabis. There's different marketing opportunities such as yours for cannabis. People have their different skill sets and different opportunities, and really just offering it to grow this industry, there'll be that butterfly effect, because it will be other industries that the cannabis community relies on, whether it's entertainment, music. There's other industries that will help our community grow, and it's finding your niche. That's the biggest tip I could give an entrepreneur is find your niche where you can make the greatest amount of impact. Don't just do what everybody else is doing because everybody else is doing it. It's an oversaturated market. It's difficult. So if you're not able to grow on demand, find a niche market.
And I find a lot of people trying to get into this industry from healthcare
Hmm.
as well as pharmaceutical. You know, Michigan is the home to a lot of pharmaceutical companies. And there's a lot of people that are doing, you know, that are involved in pharmaceuticals that are looking to get into this, it seems.
Yeah, if I was a healthcare entrepreneur, and I was attempting to look to benefit the cannabis industry, I would look to almost create a company similar to an occupational health facility, similar to Concentra Healthcare, that offer simply cannabis and holistic medicine certifications, access, possibly rides to provisioning centers, to different kind of doctor's appointments, and really have it based on holistic medicine. I think that would be a great opportunity for a healthcare company to break into the cannabis community.
And another thing I think would be important is almost like pharmaceutical sales reps, but for the cannabis industry.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a product that's made up of hundreds of cannabinoids, and each cannabinoid affects different receptors in the endocannabinoid system. So it's truly needs to have essentially a pharmaceutical rep to explain these processes, to explain the true biology and the chemistry behind, how this medicine affects people. It's different than some of the the more common sales techniques of the industry, but I think to have to tap into the pharmaceutical side and to tap into the kind of the farm to patient thought process, I think you need a pharmaceutical type sales rep to explain the different strains and different
Right.
um, different processes.
Well, and specifically, I think, you know, like you could have one of these positions that's actually going into like a dispensary position that is going into the doctor's offices and having these conversations, taking these doctors out to lunch. I mean,
Mm,
pharmaceutical reps can do it. Why can't we? But
absolutely.
going and having these conversations with doctors and saying, hey, let's work out this partnership. Your people want information on this. Like you need to have a place to send them. Like,
Yep, and I think that's what the cannabis community does best is grassroots. I mean, it's the law of the land as it's been for decades. So that's truly what we need to continue to grow is to grow through grassroots, is to grow through the one person help out one person to cascade that butterfly effect. If we have one cannabis advocate go and get us three more. I mean, the way that can transcend, and if we can look to, push this as a medicine, as it was the main ingredient in hundreds of medicines for centuries up until, I don't know, the lobbyists for the labor or for the lumber industry, the paper industry, the textile industry saw it as a competitive good, and they had the cash at that time. So it's
right.
time to open up our eyes and see cannabis as an opportunity and see it as a medical benefit as it is and as it once was.
Well, the tides are most certainly turning.
Yeah.
So, well, Anthony, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And if you want to get a hold of Anthony, there is his information, asabatella@thc123.com. Definitely get on there and check out his website. You know, start really thinking about how you're going to utilize him to to help you find the right employees and help you focus on the operations of your company, because that is what is most important, is to focus on those revenue producing activities. So
Absolutely.
thank you. I worked for a business coach for a hot minute, you know, in my past. So and that's the one thing that he always preached was, you know, focus on the revenue producing activity
Exactly.
and, you know, staff the other stuff or contract it out.
Absolutely. Because if it doesn't create value for your company, why not outsource it to professionals who can specialize in it, who then can offer you economies of scale and you decrease your own liability? So guess what? If I can outsource this and I protect myself because if something went wrong, it's on the other company anyways.
Right, right. Yes, it is. Well, and I want to thank the attendees for using their time and for joining us today. And please tell everyone about Cannabis Connection and what we are doing. You know, our whole focus is to teach those that are interested in building a business in the cannabis industry to educate them and help them connect with those that are also participating in the industry and have a very fruitful relationship and help each other build your businesses. So Anthony is one of the Cannabis Connection founding members. He is in charge of all my staffing and payroll solutions. And I have a number of other founding members. We have LC Solutions Michigan, which is accounting and bookkeeping. Under compliance, we have Jenny Germano out of Colorado, ICS Consulting. I love her story. She started out as a dispensary employee years and years ago in Colorado and turned into a manager, and then now owns a compliance company in Colorado doing a lot of work around the country. Our insurance partners are Bricks and Mortar Insurance out of the Detroit area. Our licensing and operations partner, our Vista Green Consulting Group, they do a number of licensing across the country. In fact, they just were had a ton of work on their plate for New Jersey. New Jersey is another one of those states that everybody is kind of trying to get into right now. Marketing, advertising, Cola Marketing, that's one of my companies. Canna Media Works as well for the municipality approval and lobbying. And I'm telling you what, this whole municipality approval and lobbying thing is going to be really important again. We only have 108 municipalities that have opted in, and there are 1,700 municipalities in Michigan. So there's a lot more to go. And I think it's a matter of helping them understand how to opt in a way that is going to make them feel comfortable, to make their law enforcement comfortable, to make their zoning and planning more comfortable. You know, it's really about educating them and helping them better understand the regulations and how it could be an advantage for them.
Absolutely. I mean, cannabis solves a business problem, a medical problem, and a social problem. And it's just explaining those solutions to local governments and showing, you know, how cannabis is a win-win-win scenario is what our true goal needs to be on the local level.
Right, it really is. And one thing that I try to really drill into these municipalities is helping them understand that it's not just these licensees. Of course, they're going to make a lot of money off the licensees, but it takes a lot of companies. I mean, we are building a brand spanking new industry, and it takes a lot of companies, like 30 to 50 companies, to support one licensed business. I mean, we are building these extreme corporations and these extreme businesses. So it's just really important that they think about those opportunities and the different streams of revenue that they will see outside of the licensing.
Correct.
Our packaging and design partner is Kush Design Studio. Our public relations partner is Ingrid Marketing. They do a stellar job at public relations. And then our security partners are the National Cannabis Security Services, run by Ted Daniels. If you haven't met Ted or seen any of his videos, he's quite the character. I definitely, I recommend that you check him out. And but you know, look on Cannabis Connection. There's a lot of content in there. You have to have a free membership to access that content. And if there's information that you specifically want to know, let me know. Send me an email at info@cannabisconnection.com. Let me know specifically what type of information you're looking for. And I can either connect you or I can create that content to help ease your mind and your concerns. And we, our next networking events, so we're kind of making some changes to our monthly networking events. We were doing them on the same night, and I think we're going to make a transition to where we are probably going to offer a couple on the same night, like maybe different parts of the state, and then a couple weeks later offer more on the same night. So kind of space them out a little bit. That way, if you don't make one, you know that you have another one that you can get to that might be an hour and a half, 2 hours away from you or something, that you have another one that you can get to and attend. Because right now, it's just really about the opportunity of getting out there and meeting more people, having those conversations, networking, and figuring out how to help others and how they can help you. So
Absolutely.
Right. Well, Anthony, thank you so much again for your time today. It's always a pleasure having you, and I will be uploading this to the back end of the website either this afternoon or tomorrow. And so until then, and I'm looking forward to our next conversation, Anthony.
Awesome. Have a great one, Jamie. Thank
Okay,
you
and
so much.
we're hosting a job fair together
Oh, yeah, we are.
in December. So stay tuned for information on that. We're
Yep.
still lining everything out, but yes.
Have a
Awesome.
great one. Stay
Bye.
lifted.